This is RBN, the Republic Broadcasting Network.
What Really Happened with your host, Mike Rivero. You're listening to the Republic Broadcasting Network, where you'll find out what the Fukushima's going on.
Welcome to our show today. It is Wednesday, December 9th, 2020, middle of the weekday, hump day, starting that long, slow glide down to Powhatan on a Friday. And things are starting to really get intense out there. We've got a lot to talk about today. Mike is in our control room, twiddling the dials and keeping us out of trouble. And as usual, we're going to do news until we run out of news. And then we'll open the lines for phone calls. And that's probably going to happen a little earlier in the show than it has been, just because the less time we seem to have for calls, the more callers don't get through. And that's really not fair to them. All righty. Getting on back to yesterday's story where it came on out, or was reported, let me stress that, it was reported the Supreme Court had rejected the lawsuit by Mike Kelly. This was, coming out of Pennsylvania. And of course, everybody was saying, oh, that's it. It's the death blow. It's all over. And as usual with the corporate media, the story was, shall we say, misreported. Because what the Supreme Court rejected was the petition for emergency injunctive relief, which means do something now. The Supreme Court rejected that, but the case itself is still pending in front of the court. They did not deny cert. And so this is definitely still pending before the United States Supreme Court. And we do have to be very, very careful. The corporate media is trying to spin this any way they can to cause Trump supporters to give up and lose hope. But it's building to a climax. Now, Pennsylvania has filed its brief requested by Justice Alito to the Supreme Court. And basically they said, okay, even if federal laws or the U.S. Constitution were violated, the Supreme Court should not look at this case because it would open a Pandora's box. That literally was Pennsylvania's argument against the lawsuit. Yeah, the law may have been broken, the Constitution may have been violated, but if you open this up, there's going to be all kinds of problems there. Well, my response to that is let justice be done, though the heavens may fall. And it's definitely time to get that going. So what's going on over in Pennsylvania? And as it turns out, playing by the rules, something Democrats don't seem really all that inclined to do. The Pennsylvania legislature and their state Supreme Court were supposed to amend the Constitution of Pennsylvania to change the election rules. They didn't. The rules were changed by executive fiat by the governor, who doesn't really have that authority under the Pennsylvania Constitution. So the Pennsylvania electors would violate their state and U.S. federal constitutions. And that is the primary basis of going to the Supreme Court with this. Now, yesterday we reported on how Texas had filed suit against 4 battleground states over violations of election law. The Trump administration has now joined that lawsuit. And certainly the Supreme Court is not going to say he doesn't have standing. And Trump has basically called on Supreme Court justices to have the courage to intervene in the election and say they've got to fix the election fraud. So that's, what's going on over there. Now, apparently, according to Colonel Alan West, he was on Steve Bannon yesterday evening in the War Room. And basically, Alan West, the Republican Party Texas state leader, said that 7 other states are joining Texas in this lawsuit against Georgia, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. So all of these state legislators are fighting back. And there's going to be so much pressure on this. The Supreme Court has to hear this, and there will be a huge focus on this. Now, Trump attorney Jordan Sekelo is saying that Michigan, Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin are required to respond to the Texas case by Thursday. So by Thursday, we'll know what their response is going to be and whether it's as lame as the one from Pennsylvania saying, well, the laws may have been broken, but you don't want to look under this rock. Is basically that's their entire argument. You know, it's silly, but that's their argument here. And I want to remind everybody of the previous Supreme Court decision. This was 9-0, and this was back in 1997 in a lawsuit, Foster versus Love. And basically, the Supreme Court ruled then that elections undecided by midnight of Election Day are void and preempted by federal law. So again, the law is on Trump's side. The question is, can the law prevail over all the obvious corruption here? Now, there's another interesting little aspect to this coming out of Just the News, and basically saying that under the 12th Amendment, Mike Pence could reject contested electors. Now, that is the electors that have been named by the governors of these states that are in dispute, and the legislatures of those states could send their own electors, and Pence could say, these are the valid ones for the Electoral College. So that could result in another path for Donald Trump here. Over in Texas here, actually on the Sean Hannity show, last night was talking to the Texas Attorney General, and basically the Texas Attorney General said state legislatures have the authority to decide the electors. And so basically that's another venue, another legal avenue. So they're really piling on this stuff. Now, Daniel McCarthy out in Arizona has announced that the Arizona legislature have invoked Article 2 and Section 1, meaning Arizona is officially a contested election, meaning that their certification for Biden is now null and void until these issues of fraud are examined fully and settled. Down in Georgia, a lot of stuff going on down in Georgia. In Coffee County, apparently, officials have sent a letter to Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger saying they are unable to duplicate the election night results on their voting machines. And basically, that says that county doesn't count anymore. They can't reproduce the results they had. And it's another reminder, those machines cannot be trusted. They're subject to rigging. And you can almost smell the panic circulating through the deep state and corporate media. And as one example, earlier today, YouTube announced it will start removing any content alleging widespread voter fraud, changing the outcome of the 2020 presidential election. They're going to delete any videos disputing Joe Biden's election victory. It's all going to be Orwellized. And again, YouTube is basically showing they have become a propaganda arm of the deep state. And YouTube went on to say that content from authoritative news organizations is going to be presented regarding the election. That, of course, means ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, PBS, and the other deep state corporate media. Apparently, Ted Cruz has now confirmed that he will present oral evidence before the Supreme Court. This is the Mike Kelly lawsuit regarding Pennsylvania. And because Rudy Giuliani is in the hospital, Ted Cruz is going to do the oral arguments. And he's a good speaker. We saw that when he ran for president. Speaking of Rudy Giuliani, a complete side note, apparently he's responding very well to treatment and is saying he's probably going to be up and around in another couple of days here. Getting on to non-election politics here, Congressman Jim Jordan and Ken Buck were on Sean Hannity last night on the scandal surrounding Hunter Biden. And it's actually getting traction because Fox News just ran a story about how Hunter Biden's tax records are now under investigation. So Jordan was out there saying, after all the talk about conspiracy theories, it was the Biden family that enriched themselves, and they are. They're very, very wealthy, which is hard to do on the salary paid to a member of Congress. Now, they're paid reasonably well, but not enough to make themselves multimillionaires. Okay. Now, Joe Biden has picked a possible new Secretary of Defense, and the corporate media is going yeehaw. But apparently, this choice, Caitlin Johnston, this is from Caitlin Johnston. Apparently, former General Lloyd Austin III will be the next Secretary of Defense. And he's a war hawk. He's a professional war profiteer. And so, again, the Senate will have to confirm, and we'll see what's going on. Another of Biden's reported picks, this one for the Department of Agriculture, is former Iowa Governor Tom Vilsack. The problem is progressives call him Mr. Monsanto because he's a champion of GMO crops and big agricultural corporations. They're trying to basically undo the last 4 years of Donald Trump and get us back to that glorious deep state control profit machine that they make all that money off of us. All right, let's talk about COVID-19 because it's making news here. Great Britain started vaccinating their population. The first one to get the vaccine was this 90-year-old grandmother. The first male to get the vaccine, oddly enough, was named William Shakespeare. And it didn't take too long for adverse reactions to start coming on out. And apparently, two National Health Service staff who got the vaccine suffered an anaphylactic reaction. And regulators are now saying people with a history of significant allergies not to have the Pfizer injection. Okay, and that also was being reported on Fox News. Well, Claire's got her exception there because she's allergic to sulfur drugs, and I'm allergic to bovine excrement, so I guess we're both off the hook for that needle jab here. But apparently, they've already hit problems just 24 hours after they started sticking those needles in people. Britain has issued this allergy alert after COVID made these two people fall ill. And now they're saying the vaccine should only be given where resuscitation measures are available, because when people go into anaphylactic shock, they can stop breathing. So already major problems. Apparently, the FDA is now warning surveillance for cases of people being vaccinated because 4 trial participants who received the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine experienced facial paralysis. It's called Bell's palsy. Fortunately, it'll probably pass. But again, it just shows how incredibly toxic and dangerous this fast track warp drive vaccination is here. And they basically said, they had the spatial paralysis. It was not seen in the placebo control group, and therefore they're forced to conclude it is an adverse reaction to the vaccine. Now, the Centers for Disease Control is telling states to obtain personal details of vaccine recipients, but some, including New York, are refusing this because it will give immigrations and custom enforcement information they will use to deport people. Now, so there's a little bit of something going on there. Maybe they'll exempt illegal immigrants from having to report. They've done sillier things than that here. Apparently, internal documents and emails from the life sciences company Emergent Biosolutions, revealed the company was aware that its biodefense product for the treatment of nerve gas exposure, sold under the name Trobigard, was non-functional and untested for safety or efficacy when it was actively marketing the product to the U.S. government. Now, the reason this is of concern is because this same company, Emergent Biosolutions, is set to manufacture the COVID-19 vaccine. A lot of money out there, a lot of corruption, a lot of rushing, and they really don't care who they hurt, as long as they get their money here. Okay, now apparently, this is a story coming out of Natural News. There was a survey done of people about whether they want to get the government's COVID vaccination. And apparently this poll came out with more than 90% of the respondents against taking the shot. And apparently, this is what's going on out there. And apparently the questions they asked, should vaccines be mandatory? The response was 94.97% no. Are you getting the COVID jab? Response was 91.43% no. Was government reaction to COVID-19 worse than the bug? Response, yes, 90.76%. Next question, do you support lockdowns or military involvement? The no's were 92.83%. The next question was, should masks be mandatory? No was 90.65%. Do you trust the World Health Organization? The response, no, 90.29%. And the last question, was COVID-19 politicized by the corporate media? The response was yes, by 94.58%. So the hoax hasn't worked, to put it bluntly, to put it delicately. Now, again, there are laws in place, including some up at the United Nations, saying that you cannot be injected without your permission. And so the strategy right now is to find coercive ways to get you to take the shot, to basically manufacture your consent. And the latest one is basically that employers will not let you keep your job unless you get the vaccine. Now, this is on dubious legal ground. But if the government gets these employers to go along with it, it's going to be a real problem. Another plan that is being discussed is with the coming coronavirus, the Stimulus Act, they may make it contingent on getting the COVID vaccine. In other words, you will get a $1,500 stimulus check only if you get the needle stuck in your arm. And both Claire and I said we can live without the $1,500. Thank you very much. Meanwhile, the U.S. government is getting ready to issue wallet cards, proof of vaccination cards that you will show on demand. Papers, please. May I see your papers, please? And again, the official explanation is they want to track who's got the vaccine. But if that was the reason, why does it have to be wallet-sized? Up in New York, pardon me, Assembly member Linda Rosenthal, who represents parts of Manhattan's West Side, introduced a bill to require the state to safely and effectively distribute an FDA-approved vaccine in accordance with the Department of Health's Vaccine Administration Program. In other words, a bill to make the COVID-19 vaccine mandatory. And again, this is illegal under already existing laws and treaties. Now, in a similar vein, and this gets back to what I was saying before about the problem with states not wanting to report vaccine recipients' personal data out of fear of deportation. Apparently, at Cornell University, all students are required to be vaccinated for influenza unless they qualify as Black, Indigenous, or a person of color, in which case they can apply for an exemption. And I mean, talk about racism in reverse. You know, the white students must take the shot and the others have the option. And that strikes me as a violation of the Equal Protection Clause. All righty, over in Great Britain, Sir Patrick Vallance is admitting there is no hard evidence that pub curfews have slowed coronavirus transmission, and says the 10 p.m. curfew rule in England was a pure policy decision. There was no science to back it up. Over in Turin, Italy, and this may have been a bit of an overreaction. Apparently, the Cathedral of Turin put face masks on their nativity scene. They put face masks on. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to leave this story until after the commercial break because this is a good one. We'll be right back.
Is your property a financial burden and causing you grief? Have you tried to sell but can't find buyers? Or are you just too busy to sell your property? Don't worry, we have the right solution for you. We buy properties as is, with cash, close in 30 days, and pay all closing costs. Our service is ideal for property owners who are in pre-foreclosure, have high-end repair costs, experiencing financial hardship, going through costly divorces, are relocating, need cash for retirement, suffering family loss, or have tax liens. Whatever your situation may be, we can help you sell your property and get the money you need. If you own a single-family home or multiple family units, call us for a free consultation at 888-910-1037. That's 888-910-1037. Or visit our website at cashingproperty.com. That's cashingproperty.com. Sell your property fast and leave all your worries behind.
Folks, we're living in a world the likes of which we've never perceived any clearer than we do now. The plan for global governance has been in the works for generations and would have likely been achieved by now, but for the fact that the globalists left open their Achilles heel. With all their tools, Federal Reserve System, fiat currency, no child left behind, and then Common Core education introduced to our schools to dumb us down, vaccines, pharmaceuticals to lobotomize us, GMO foods, insertion of compromised or bought and paid for politicians, judges, mainstream media propaganda, all pieced together like a puzzle designed to ultimately bring the world under submission. But with all their strategy, they forgot one thing: knowledge. And knowledge is power. With knowledge, their bombardment is nullified. Folks, with that, as brilliant and knowledgeable as you've become, among the wisest audience of any radio audience in the world, and you are, I want you to take a moment to reflect and ask yourself, how much of that knowledge did I obtain from Republic Broadcasting Network? How high has my consciousness been raised since I've been a listener? How fast am I now able to discriminate truth from fake news by being a Republic Broadcasting listener? How clear am I now able to see the world since I've been listening to RBN? Ask yourselves those questions, folks. Then ask yourself, what is that knowledge worth to me? Like my morning coffee, how would I survive without it? A voice of truth in a sea of lies. Do we not all need to make sure it survives? Like public broadcasting, we are now finding we can only survive with listener support. Censorship, advertisers being attacked, truth itself being attacked. It's the only way through this. We at Republic Broadcasting humbly ask you to become a supporter. Look at your budget and make a determination of what Republic Broadcasting is worth to you and what you can afford on a monthly basis. Go to republicbroadcasting.org and pledge 20, 30, 40, 50, if possible, 100 a month or more if it's affordable. Click the donate button and become a regular monthly donor. Assure both us and yourself that Republic Broadcasting truth will continue to flow like that morning coffee. The network thanks you.
What this country is coming to, I sure would like to know. If they don't do something by and by, the rich will live and the poor will die. Doggone, the panic is on. Can't get no way, can't draw no pay.
Welcome back to our show here. And again, a friendly reminder that Republic Broadcasting Network is in need of your support. We are in a huge fight for the future of independent media, the future of honest and fair elections in this country, the future of the very republic itself. And we need your help to keep going. So once again, the postal address where you can send a check, money order, or if you prefer anonymity, cash, is Republic Broadcasting Network, 2251 Double Creek Drive, number 302, Round Rock, Texas, 78664. The phone number where you can make a credit or debit card donation is 800-724-2719, extension 3. And of course, all of this phone number and address is also at the top of republicbroadcasting.org, the network's website. So thank you all very much. And getting on back to the news here, we're talking about the Cathedral of Turin decided they were going to modify their nativity scene by putting face masks on the Virgin Mary, Joseph, the three wise men, and others in the scene. And probably, they thought that was a cute thing to do, but apparently it drew a very negative reaction. And basically, they were criticized, saying that the cathedral management lacks common sense here. And they said, we agree with anti-contagion protection, but really, it's inappropriate for this display. Well, I'm not a religious person, and I think maybe they're being a little too serious, certainly for those who feel masks are necessary. I think it sends a positive message. Here in the town of Santa Claus, Indiana, not surprisingly, there are lots of statues of Santa Claus all over the place. And back at the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, they all had face masks on them. Unfortunately, they've been washed away by repeated rainstorms and nobody's replaced them. But at the time, everybody thought it was kind of funny and kind of cute. And, so I think Turin was okay to do that, really. But, again, I think what it does show, though, is the anger that is out there regarding having to wear face masks. And it's starting to bubble up in all sorts of places. All right, we're going to turn to the international news now. Apparently yesterday, a court in Saudi Arabia sentenced Walid Fatahi, a doctor who holds dual American and Saudi citizenship, to 6 years in prison on charges that included illegally obtaining his U.S. citizenship. And the sentencing came despite the Trump administration's repeated appeals to the Saudi kingdom to release Fatahi, who founded a prominent hospital in Saudi Arabia. And apparently he was arrested back in November 2017 as Saudi authorities detained hundreds of business executives, government officials, and royal family members. And Fatahi was held for nearly 2 years without trial and tortured while in custody. So let's hear it for our friends in the Middle East over there. Okay, story coming out of Press TV. A member of Yemen's Supreme Political Council, the Houthi, is saying that excuse me there, I had to sneeze. They're saying that the United States is killing Yemeni civilians in mass in order to keep up production at its major arms manufacturing corporations, lower the rate of unemployment, pay off its debts, and advance the Israeli regime's plots in the region. Now, Yemenis are getting killed on a daily basis by the U.S., Saudi, Emirati coalition. They wake up to the sounds of U.S.-made bomb explosions, are subjected to toxic gases, witness the aftermath of mass killings, and remember all the women, children, and elderly who die as a result. And don't forget, they're also facing a cholera epidemic over there as well. Now, yesterday we talked about this story about this liberal Santa Claus that had this child come up asking for a Nerf gun. And the Santa said, no, guns are bad, you don't get a Nerf. And the child ran away crying. Well, the good news is this Santa Claus has been fired, and the replacement Santa Claus says he's going to give the boy more Nerf guns than he knows what to do with. So I'm glad they fixed that one up there. But again, there's what you're doing and there's your politics, and you shouldn't let them cross into each other. The old Soviet Union was like that. Everything that you did was determined by its political import. And a lot of bad things happened because of it, like Lysenkoism, actually. All righty. We're going to go ahead and open the phone lines a little early. Like I said at the top of the show, area code 512-248-8252. And SpaceX was trying to do their first high altitude test of the Starship vehicle yesterday, but apparently the main engines aborted at T minus 1.3 seconds. That's got to be a huge disappointment. All right, we got to take another break here for some commercials, and we'll be right back.
You are tuned in to the Republic Broadcasting Network. Visit our website by going to republicbroadcasting.org.
Homeowners, if your lender has gone out of business or sold your transaction to another lender or servicer, you may be the victim of a wrongful foreclosure resulting in the loss of your home. If you've already lost your home, are in foreclosure, or even in good standing, you can challenge the mortgage transaction's illegal issue and your property can be restored to you, and your foreclosure can be stopped or reversed and the mortgage transaction declared unenforceable. State laws, U.S. title codes, the Uniform Commercial Codes, and U.S. Supreme Court rulings have upheld that force property title claims in favor of the homeowner. We are having successes in stopping the process of foreclosure, the enforcement of the foreclosure judgments, the sale of property, and evictions after the sale. We are not attorneys, and we don't give legal advice. We are a professional team of legal researchers, providing forensic mortgage audits and expert witnesses. We have the knowledge to produce the evidence and enforce laws regarding your legal issues. We've been in business for 12 years without a complaint. Consultations are free, and we provide a free title search to confirm if your mortgage has legal defects. Please call 855-253-3748. 855 the number 2, keep it today.
Hello, I'm Dr. Leonard Horowitz. I was right 30 years ago in warning the world about threatening lab virus outbreaks, AIDS, and Ebola. I was right 20 years ago when FBI Director Robert Mueller made me a suspect in the anthrax mailings because I warned the Bureau before the CIA's biocrime and Cipro sales psyops happened. I was right about COVID-19 being an AIDS-laced mutagen planned to resurge this fall to excuse officials' profitable depopulation globalization agendas. And I was right about the only safeguards being antioxidants and holy spiritual sustenance. Vitamin C, D, zinc, chlorophyll, oxygen, and oxysilver especially transmits the frequency resonance to neutralize the expanded function bioweapon. Oxysilver is a double superconductor of the healing power of love. It is the first nutraceutical invented to amplify prayer power and the faithful, loving intention of your heart. Buy, try, and stockpile Oxysilver through healthyworldstore.com.
Have you been looking for a trusted long-term storable food company? We have a solution for you. Simply Clean Foods is dedicated to providing the best quality food you can buy next to fresh from a farmer's market. Our line of resealable fruits, vegetables, and meats are suitable for everyday use, and you won't have to worry about throwing away valuable groceries ever again. Our food is completely GMO-free, and our stringent quality controls, plus testing for heavy metals, makes us unique in the storable foods market. Simply Clean Foods' primary focus is to bring clean food to people all around the world and change the way we look at freeze-dried food in our daily cooking. When you purchase from simplycleanfoods.net, not only will you be receiving high-quality food, but you will also be supporting veterans in need across the country and those who are affected by natural disasters. Right now, Amazon Prime members will receive fast 2-day shipping. Go to simplycleanfoods.net. That's simplycleanfoods.net. But do it today.
Born in the city with a silver spoon, great-grandson of the oil tycoon, raised by wolves, thinks he owns the moon, socialist banker to the one-world goons, Davy Rockefeller, chairman of the CFR.
And welcome back to our show here. And again, the phone lines are open, area code 512-248-8252. We've got callers waiting on the line, but I want to get this story done before we go to the phones here. And this is regarding SpaceX, and they were trying to do the first high altitude test of the Starship vehicle yesterday, but the main engines aborted at just T minus 1.3 seconds. And they're still not sure what happened, if it was an issue with one or more of the Raptor engines, or if a sensor detected something elsewhere. So they're going through the data, and apparently they're looking at possible launch even today to try and get it up there, but I haven't heard a follow-up on that. All righty, let's start taking some phone calls here, and we're going to go to Mark in North Carolina. Hello, Mark. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Hey, how you doing, Mike?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
First of all, I should be okay now with the allergies because I'm allergic to globalists like Bill Gates and Anthony Fauci
Yep.
and Klaus Schwab, so I should be okay in that. So anyway, I don't know if you know what Governor DeSantis is doing. He's kind of showing up what a fraud these PCR tests are, and he's making the lab up with it also. So I think what's happening, Mike, is we're finding out more and more this whole thing, what the globalists are trying to do with the whole COVID hoax, is falling on its face. All right, I mean it's all over the world now. People are realizing, these horrendous vaccines are extremely dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
People are already getting sick from it, which is horrible, but expected. What do you expect from this? So I don't think I think people are not going to take this stuff. There's going to be too many of them to really even try to force it on us. Even using corporations to ban people from going into their stores or flying in their planes or whatever else, because they'll go out of business if they do that. So I think the whole thing is falling on its face.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of think that the globalists are up to something else. I saw something yesterday with Jason Burmis.
Yeah.
About some kind of thing with space aliens and some Israeli scientists or something like that.
Yeah, that's being spammed all over the net, and it's an attempt to kookify the independent media. The corporate media is getting desperate if they're going to try a stunt like that.
Well, no, it's not that he doesn't believe it either. Not that I believe it. I do believe there are aliens out there, but that's besides the point. I don't think they're harmful to this country or to the world or anything else. But the thing is, what I think they may be planning, the deep state may be planning, is some kind of a mock alien invasion.
Yes.
Whether they're going to use people that are, been genetically modified. They do have these, they are experimenting with hybrid animal humans and stuff like that. Or maybe using the, what do you call those kind of weapons where they can use, it's not nuclear, it's like, I've got some kind of a weapon that you can use using, I forget the name of the word now, but anyway.
Well, particle beams?
Make it look almost.
Particle beam?
Yeah, it might be that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, interestingly enough, the government actually did put together a plan to fake an alien invasion, to try and get the American people back online. And this was a while ago, and I think the code name for it was Operation Bluebeam. But they'd have to really work hard to fool those of us who are experts in tomfoolery.
Yeah, but the thing is, I think they realize they can't even use other countries now just for a false flag. So they may try something like this, which of course wouldn't necessarily just attack the United States, but attack other cities around the world.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to watch now. The aliens are invading us. We got to all unite together. One world government. And this may be the next. Stephen Greer said that a few months ago, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
He was saying that even though he believes they're aliens, and I think he even said he was kidnapped already. But I don't know if that's really true or not. But but he said he doesn't believe it really will be aliens. He said it's the government going to try. This is going to be the next scam, after
Yeah.
COVID. He already figured it was going to fail. And I tend to believe that's a possibility that they may just try something like that. They're evil enough.
Yep.
They think we're stupid enough that they get away with it. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I have my doubts. I mean, I'm very interested in stuff with aliens and stuff like that. I like the shows and all that. I've even watching this thing. It's an old series called Roswell. I think it was back around the
Roswell.
turn of the century.
Yeah, Roswell.
Yeah, the TV.
Yeah.
It's entertaining, you know, about these aliens that are human and they fit in the town and everything like that. It's entertaining and all that, but I know it's BS. I mean, I don't think it's BS about the crash that happened. I know you think it was some kind of a government project, but I do believe it probably was an alien ship that crashed. But again, I don't think these people, if they are there, are harmful. I don't think they're going to attack this country or the world, because if they were going to do that, they would have done it a long time ago. You know?
Absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
why wait?
Now,
But
my opinion, my
steam
opinion on,
energy weapons. That's what I was thinking about before. I'm sorry. Energy weapons.
yeah, well, directed energy weapons. Yeah. Well, my thoughts on this are pretty well known here. I'm convinced the universe is full of life. I know that Mars has indigenous life. There may be life in the methane pools on Titan. I'm sure the universe is full of intelligent life, but why would they mess with us? What do we have that is worth the time and energy costs of coming down here to the bottom of a gravity well, fighting the indigenous population to take back on up there? Old Chuck Berry records. So, on this, I disagreed with Professor Stephen Hawking, who was very concerned that as we broadcast our presence out into the universe, that we might invite some unwelcome attention. But in theory, society evolves alongside its technology. And so any civilization that has managed to travel faster than the speed of light and achieve interstellar travel, they're going to look at us as, very primitive creatures, barely out of the bone through the nose stage. It's like, when you drive down the highway, do you stop and investigate every anthill you pass?
No, well, the only thing is you could say we have resources that they might need or something like that. I don't believe we do, but I'm just saying.
No, we don't. Everything that we have here on Earth is out there in the asteroid belt and the Oort cloud, where it can be mined and harvested without having to fight the gravity and atmosphere, getting down to the surface of Earth and getting back up. I mean, there was a story we ran, I think it was about 2 weeks ago, about this asteroid that is so rich in minerals that they say if it were exploited, it would be worth more than our own planet.
Maybe we should look to mining,
Well, I mean, that's going to happen. They're talking about it. They're basically doing these prospecting trips out to the asteroids to see if there's something that would make it cost effective, to basically turn space into a profit center. And I hope they succeed, because then it's really going to take off.
Have you ever watched that series, by the way, Roswell?
I think I watched
series.
a couple of episodes of it when it was first out, but I wasn't a big fan of it.
Yeah, it's kind of entertaining. I mean, the last one I was watching, he tried to get a spaceship. He tried to get the spaceship, I guess, that supposedly crashed to be held in an army base, and he was trying to go back to his planet because his son is there or something, and he's in trouble. They tried to get the thing to going, and it crashed, and it just plopped right back down again.
Yeah,
kind of.
I think I remember that one here. The Roswell crash was actually a high altitude balloon carrying instruments to detect the signature of Soviet nuclear tests, and that was ultra top secret. So when it did crash, the Air Force Base basically said, well, we got to make up some story because everybody's talking about it. So somebody said, well, we'll just say it was a crashed alien spaceship, without realizing what an incredible sensation that was going to cause. And so that's why they they changed it to like 24 hours later.
Yeah, but you got the base intelligence officer, Jesse Marcel, that came out later and said no, he was told to say it was a balloon. He said it was an alien craft.
Yep.
He had certain, metallic type
My
thing
lot.
that, bend, that we didn't have at that time. And it sounds very plausible. And his son continued that story afterwards too.
Yes.
So I don't know. I think of all the possible alien contacts we've had. If you look, I think Roswell is probably number one. It's the most likely. That's my opinion. It may not be. It could have been some kind of experimental ship. Maybe we had with those German scientists. Operation Paperclip. May have been the German scientists who had something there. But I don't know. It just seems to me like that's a very good possibility. It was
Well, there's another aspect. There's another aspect to this, and that is that the government likes to encourage people to believe in alien spacecraft. In fact, Project Blue Book was not set up to investigate reports of UFOs, but to basically sell the idea that there was something there. And that was done so that if you were out in the desert and you saw $1 billion of taxpayer money flash overhead at 5 times the speed of sound, you'd run into the bar at the local town and say, I just saw an alien spacecraft, and any foreign intelligence operatives would not get any useful information out of you.
Well, yeah, that could be, like I said, that leads up to what I'm saying now again, that this may be their next scam.
Yes.
Looks like COVID is falling apart now. It's they're falling flat in their face over with the COVID thing. So this might be the next scam. These globalists might pull. I don't know.
Well, that's why they're resurrecting human-caused global warming and saying that, what we're doing for COVID with the masks and social distancing is somehow going to help fight human-caused global warming if we keep on doing it.
Which doesn't even exist. Human causes global warming. It's another. And I love the way they say, "Well, it's sex science." It's nothing sex science.
No.
Okay, there's nothing sex at all. Okay.
Scientists believed in epicycles for 400 years, and they were flat out wrong.
Yeah. So I mean, come on. But anyway, that's pretty much it. As far as Trump goes, I'm disgusted with his vaccine business. However, I still rather see him getting back in there than Biden and Harris. I mean, these two are just horrible. They're just,
They are. They are. I'm absolutely in agreement with you.
So other than that, then that's pretty much it. Okay, Mike, you take it easy, right?
All right. Thanks an awful lot for the phone call, Mark. And we're going to go to Keith Rogers. Hello, Keith. Welcome to the show. Thank you for waiting. What's on your mind?
Well, I got a couple of things for you, Mike, and I hope Claire's doing fine too. Anyway, if you force yourself sexually on either a female or a male, it's called rape. It's a crime. And, the Nuremberg Code was brought up after World War II there to make sure that there was a mutual consent before any treatments, or I should say any and all treatments between a doctor. And, of course, by signing that, it removed liability from the doctor. And, of course, this is usually when you sign those forms, there's a plethora of a list of possible side effects and infections and stuff, what other health risk, So when you start probing other people with something else like that, it's rape, But my actual call to you, though, was about these wallet vaccination cards. If anyone outside the medical field were to ask for that same information, it'd be in violation of the HIPAA laws.
Yes.
And so a clerk or at a store or something like that, it would be illegal for them to ask for it. So is there going to be some kind of a health minister that works for the state to be at each location?
I'm not sure, and I'm not exactly sure what is on the vaccination card. I know that the Department of Defense posted a picture of the proposed design. But again, we're dealing with a government that doesn't even follow its own laws. And I doubt they're going to let HIPAA get in the way of having all of us have that little vaccine card in their wallet.
Well, even these cops at these DUI checkpoints now realize that, when they're doing a sobriety check and like that, they move their so-called victim into a private trailer like that because they realize that anything that's broadcasted over the air, they have to protect that patient, their rights, and their information. See, so that's an important thing to remember. And one other little thing here, and I'll get off the phone here. I got a break coming up. But anyway, Elon Musk, he tweets every once in a while. Some of his tweets are stupid and stuff like that. But I tweeted in the other day there. I said, do you realize that you're building the technology today that's going to enslave us tomorrow? And, I don't care about this space stuff myself. Space is good and everything like that. But, as I've said before, they could turn those satellites around and look at what's wrong with Earth,
Yes.
Spend the billions of dollars down here. But, that's our problem here. And I think there is something devious going on with HARP or something like that. And of course, I can't confirm this, but there is so much flooding everywhere.
Yes.
That the weather has changed. And I think this is a deliberate thing to destroy crops and stuff, too.
Well, I don't know if it's deliberate to destroy crops. But, the fact of the matter is weather changes all the time. There's this idea of locking the climate into a certain mode is a complete fantasy. Weather and climate is always changing. It always has. It certainly did before humans came around, and it'll go on changing after we're gone.
Yeah, well, like that PBS has got that documentary out about that massive ice calving down there in Antarctica there.
Yes.
And I corrected him. I said, look it up. There's 91 active volcanoes there, and the same was I think they called the Balkan ice sheet.
Yes.
It has 3 volcanoes underneath of it, so of course it's going to melt and break.
Yes.
But they blame that on climate change.
Yeah.
But this is another scare, and before it was.
Yeah.
I was going to say, before it was these islands are disappearing. Are they disappearing, or are the plates and stuff moving to where they're actually lowering?
Well, see, there's no absolute here. Anyway, Keith, thank you.
Mike.
We're going to let you go, and we'll be right back.
Homeowners, are you in foreclosure, expecting to be served with a foreclosure lawsuit, or suspect your lender has coerced you into an illegal mortgage transaction? A huge number of mortgages made in the last 10 years have legal issues and are possibly defective. State laws and the U.S. Supreme Court have upheld that defective mortgage documents are grounds for foreclosure defense and for counterclaims in favor of the homeowner. If your mortgage has been sold or assigned since closing the loan, it may be defective and you may be paying the wrong party, and the lender may not have standing or the right to foreclose or collect payments under the law. If you would like to know if your mortgage is legal or not, or know if you are paying the right party, we can help. Our initial consultations are free of charge. We are not attorneys. We are legal researchers and work closely with experienced lawyers who know how to help you find the evidence to help you keep your home. Call toll-free 1-855-2-KEEP-IT. That's 1-855-2-KEEP-IT today.
Ladies and gentlemen, J.R. Moore here. We have a special promotion going on at Republic Broadcasting. This is a fundraiser for Republic Broadcasting involving the Energy Cleaner. Mail me a postcard. My address is at my website at thelibertyman.com. We pick a postcard every other Thursday. When your postcard is drawn out, you get to buy an Energy Cleaner for $215 instead of $285, $70 discount. $200 goes to Republic Broadcasting. You also get a 10% discount on my mattress pads. So get those postcards in, put your name, your telephone number, your email address on there, and when your postcard is drawn, you get to get an Energy Cleaner for $215 instead of $285. Mattress pads, 10% off. Help us out at Republic Broadcasting and help yourself to get an Energy Cleaner at a deep discount. It's a win-win situation for everybody. We hope you can get these postcards in soon. Thank you very much.
What would you say if I told you we have a new tool that will increase production and lower maintenance costs for your meat processing company? And it would pay for itself in just 6 weeks.
When pigs fly!
The new Ease Off Model Easy 4 replaces old spring-style carcass droppers and is faster, safer, and more reliable. The Ease Off lowers or lifts 1,000 pounds to or from your rail automatically using our remote control.
Sounds expensive. Can I afford it?
Can you afford not to try the Ease Off? It installs fast with just 3 bolts in place of your current dropper. The effortless operation will reduce fatigue and injuries, speed up your line, eliminate downtime, and increase profit. How can I order my Ease Off? Go to easeoff.com, EAZEOFF.com, and hurry, because we are offering $200 off on the new Easy 4 for a limited time. Easeoff.com. We make pigs fly. Cows, too. Ease Off LLC, Summersville, Missouri, 417-932-6419.
Welcome back to our show here, and we're going to go back to the phones to Steve Elkins. Steve, welcome to the show. What's on your mind today?
Well, there was an article on the 8th, LouRockwell.com by Jeff Minnick, and we were talking about, people trying to find ways and reasons and restrictions of why they can't take the vaccine because of all the side effects, adverse effects, how dangerous this thing's really going to be. It came to mind that if you watch TV lately, you've noticed that in the pharmaceutical industry, they've shortened the disease processes. They've shortened them, not the full word anymore. Now, rheumatoid arthritis is now called RA. AFib is atrial fibrillation. COPD is chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. CHF is congestive heart failure. They don't use the full phrase anymore. They just use the initials.
Yes.
And there's a story by Jeff Minnick there. It was kind of funny. The title of the story is called Amanda Has CS. So the story is this fictitious girl. Evidently, he did change the name so to protect her identity. But she goes to a store, and the employee, maybe the owner of the store, is out there out front, hands out masks. And he said, "Would you like a mask?" Because she didn't have a mask walking up to the front door, and she said, "No, I can't wear a mask. I have CS." Well, going back to those initials again, it sounds like a real disease process here, looking at RA and AFib and other things, but CS. And he's, that's fine. You can go on in then. So when she walked in, she started chuckling. CS stands for common sense.
Yes. I love that. No, they shorten the diseases to their initials. It leaves more room in the audio track for the disclaimer at the end about all the bad things that'll happen if you actually take that drug here. They were doing it with my little medical crisis this year. They call it PMR. Okay. And which I have took a while to figure out what that actually meant.
Yeah. Another thing, complaint here on just your regular mainstream media. And Fox, I'm really disappointed in Fox. It's a hit and miss. They are really slipping going into the area of the regular CNN fake news. But Bill Bennett was on Fox today with Dana Perino, and Dana Perino, these are just teleprompter readers. They don't do any homework, investigative work whatsoever. But she asked, about the shutdowns in the schools, the kids not going to school, and the following the rules, the restrictions are all science-based. And, of course, Bill Bennett said, most certainly they're all science-based. We're following science, and that's why we've had the restrictions, but they really are not science-based. These are pseudoscience-based because children have the least number of incidents of corona or death.
Yes.
And we are not following science. The masks are not following science. Social distancing, there are so many things that are non-science about this. It is politicized, but it is non-science. But I'm disappointed that nobody's pressing these people that come on the show. They're just going along and say, it's all science-based, but we know the difference. We read the articles, we have the information, the statistics, and I just get really irritated when somebody quotes something to me saying, well, I saw Bill Bennett said this, and it was on Fox. Fox
Okay,
is
Steve.
trustworthy. Well, not necessarily. They are not always trustworthy.
I got to put you on hold. We've got to take a break for our station identification, and we'll come right back to you after these few words.
Extendivite's 7-herb formulation is approved to help maintain cardiovascular health and help lower blood lipid levels in adults. Extendivite is made from hawthorn, garlic, valerian, cayenne, bilberry, ginkgo biloba, and milk thistle. The herbs in Extendivite have been chosen for their ability to help with overall health. Many people have reported improved energy and stamina in just a few months. If you think you could feel just a little bit better, then Extendivite may just be for you. Extendivite is an all-natural supplement. Extendivite is only $69.95 for a 2-month supply. To order, call 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com. That's HEARTDROP.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
You're listening to the Republic Broadcasting Network because you can handle the truth.
Welcome to the Michael Rivero What Really Happened radio program.
And welcome back to our show. Hour number 2. The phone lines are open. Area code 512-248-8252. We're talking with Steve Elkins. And I think we're all basically saying the same thing. We've got COVID burnout. The corporate media is saying the science is settled, but so much of it is unscientific. And earlier in the show, I was talking about this one official over in Great Britain who said there actually is no science to back up the claim that closing the pubs is slowing the spread of coronavirus. And so, yeah, it's all been politicized.
Oh, very much so. Matter of fact, there was a segment on Fox today, a little bit I caught today. They were talking about this next 100 days of lockdown that Gavin Newsom has put California under. What hasn't finished off small business this next 100 days will completely finish off that small businessman. California's in ruins. I can't remember, the debt was $500 billion or something like that, $350 billion, I think it was. But they are so far in debt here, and this is just, this next 100 days is completely going to destroy any small business. And I'm disappointed, Mike, because when Gavin Newsom got caught and Pelosi got caught and another politician down there got caught, defying their own regulations and rules for social distancing and numbers and wearing masks, this was a prime opportunity for California to say, whoa, wake up. We just figured it out. We're being lied to. And let's go open our business up in unity. Let's all do it together at the same time. There's nothing they can do. And they missed a golden opportunity. Here's the Golden State, a golden opportunity. They missed the boat on this one.
They certainly did. But again, as we have seen just with the rigged election, the upper levels of the entire government are totally compromised. They're going along with this globalist agenda. And somehow, COVID is being used to basically put us all into a submissive state. And who knows what that vaccine may do. I mean, Bill Gates was out there saying that they could alter the gene that causes religious belief. They could turn it off. The original goal was to sort of put an end to fanatical Muslim activists. But the same thing would also do the same thing to Christians and Jews. And who knows what other genes they want to tinker with. There was some talk some years ago about a gene for gullibility, where you would just automatically believe what you were told without question. And maybe, they're playing around with that one.
Yeah. Hey, did you notice that Biden is stuck on the number 100? Have you noticed that lately?
Yes.
Biden promises 100 million vaccines in the first 100 days and also a first 100 days of a mask mandate. He seems to be stuck on the number 100.
That's probably about as high as he can count these days.
That's it for me, Mike. Have a great show.
All right. Thanks an awful lot here. And we're going to go to Mo in Florida. Hello, Mo. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Hello, Michael.
Hello.
Hey, give me a report from South Florida here by Port St. Lucie. We're starting to have some businesses open. We've got an antique shop about 2 miles from, well, now maybe a mile and a half from where I live, and the sign is no mask for all Trump supporters welcome, no mask required.
Yes.
I think that might be the, I think that might be the sign of. There's one other place too, which is this is brand new. I guess I don't know if I called the other day, or was it 2 days ago, whatever, I forget. But
Yeah.
I haven't worn a mask unless I absolutely have to. And it looks like the sheep are waking up. What do you think?
Well, I'm seeing a lot of it around here. Of course, we're still under a mandate from Governor Holcomb to wear face masks. And I think what I'm going to do is keep my Guy Fawkes mask in the car. And every time I go into a store, I'll just wear that, and that's going to protect me from COVID-19.
You're going to wear what?
A Guy Fawkes mask.
Oh,
remember?
I've got
Yeah.
one of those.
Yes.
I wore it to a costume party 10 years ago. I still have it. I should try that on.
Yep.
One question, I'll let you go, just a little levity here. What I really don't understand, Mike, is why there hasn't been a lot of bank robberies. What the heck is going on here? I saw a cartoon, I don't know, a couple months ago, where the guy was standing in line. I don't know if you saw it, and he was going to rob a bank, and he goes, "Gosh, what's going on here? Everybody's robbing a bank today, but they all had their COVID masks on."
Yes.
What? How can you walk into a bank with a face mask on?
Well, these days you can. And in fact, you can walk into a bank with a mask on. Nobody gets upset. You can walk into a jewelry store with a mask on. Nobody gets upset. It definitely has completely changed the dynamic going into these high security places. I don't know that the number of bank robberies is dropping. I just don't know that it's necessarily being reported. The corporate media is putting all the focus on gun crime. And I think the reason they're doing that is to basically try and manufacture consent for an eventual gun ban.
Well, that's not going to happen, Mike. There's too many. I didn't get my Florida firearms permit. I was going to do it 10 years ago. I wish I had done it because I made a lot of money. I could have made a lot of money, but there is so many guns. I had some black powder ammo kits. And they sold out in minutes on eBay. So people are so desperate. People are so desperate to defend themselves. They're buying everything black powder now.
Well, black powder, is very, very potent. And I used to be into building black powder guns, and I got to be very, very good with them.
Yeah, me too. I mean, well, maybe not as good as you, but the point is that there's no way they're going to confiscate these guns, Mike. I mean, if they try to confiscate guns, it only means one thing: they want this civil war. And I'm not sure I'm kind of sure that. Well, if you look at divide and conquer, what does the Rockefellers care or the Rothschilds care about civil war? They don't care. That's what they want, to reduce the population.
Make a lot of money. Make a lot of money on guns and ammo, and bandages and bullets and all the rest of that nonsense here. And yeah, absolutely.
Do you think Bill Gates and the Rothschilds and the deep state is really worried about getting hurt if there's a civil war?
Oh, no. I'm sure they've already got their escape plans made. They've bought some houses someplace in the world that nobody knows where they are, and they'll just fly on out or sail on out and not be seen again. And we'll be hunting them down like old Nazi war criminals for the next 20, 30 years.
Mike, I'm gonna be with you on that cement mixer and fill their holes in, just like you said.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I think that would be a really good idea.
All right, I'll let you go, Mike. Thanks. I love you, man. Bye.
All right. Thanks an awful lot. We're going to switch over to Dave in Maryland. Hello, Dave. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Yo, what's going on, Mike? How you doing today?
I'm doing great.
what's going on with the Durham report? Have you heard anything about the Durham report or any like indictments coming down the line?
No, I'm hearing nothing, except, it's coming. And, as far as I can tell, it's not even breathing hard. We do know that the Senate report came down about Hunter Biden. It got zero coverage in the corporate media, but there's some pretty damning things in there. And as I said, even Fox News is now talking about, Hunter Biden is under federal tax investigation.
He might get indicted. He might get indicted, right?
Oh, he'll get a presidential pardon.
Oh, yeah, right. From Trump, probably. Mike Pompeo's been out there too. He was saying that the elections in Venezuela were like fraudulent. How could he have the nerve to say that?
Maybe
how
because
could he go out on TV? We lie, we cheat, we steal, and say another country's election was fraudulent.
Like I said, it may well be true. I mean, I understand that, Dominion voting machines were used down there as well.
Man, I'm just saying the nerve of some of these guys, man. I just can't. It's funny, though. Where did you first get your Guy Fawkes mask at?
Oh man, I don't even really remember. I think somebody sent it to me when I was still on Oahu, and it's one of the things that survived the trip out here. It's actually in that bookcase behind me, up on the top shelf. You can't really see it very clearly, but yeah, I'm going to put that in the car and start wearing that into places and say, well, face mask is a face mask,
I know it'd be cool if like you had super chats enabled right now. I would donate like $10. You stand up and put it on.
You mean where? Here?
It's super chats.
That's super chats. Okay, I'm not familiar with that.
Anyway, I don't know, Mike. Merry Christmas, but at the end of the day, here, let's get your opinion. Do you really think Putin's in on it? I guarantee you, because like at the same time, Assad, Putin, everybody in Iran, all of them, they all put their mask on at the same time, right?
Well, I think they all got suckered in by the propaganda that was pouring out about it. I think, they basically scared the entire world, and the entire world reacted. But if you really look at the numbers, I mean, as much as they're touting the vaccines, the fact is your natural immune system is still more effective against COVID-19 than these so-called vaccines are.
You see that Sputnik V, they're getting the jab over there too, aren't they, Mike?
Yes, they are.
And Russia, all of it. What do you think the difference is between the Sputnik V, the Pfizer? What's the other one?
Begins with an M. I'm blanking on it.
The company that Trump and he defunded
Moderna. Moderna. It's called Moderna. I hate getting old and losing my memory.
Trump defunded the World Health Organization, and then didn't he give the money to like Bill Gates, like something working with like, I don't know, man. Well, so you think all three of them are going to different, or they're all going to like coincide together? Like maybe they'll all work together at the same time. I don't know.
I don't know that Putin is doing the same thing to the Russian people that the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines are doing to us, or will do to us. And again, the news coming out of Great Britain is very alarming, and Pfizer is already sending out warnings about, having resuscitation equipment handy, and, watching out for these paralysis. And the other day, we read the FDA's own list of 27 adverse reactions they are expecting these vaccines to produce.
Yeah, I mean, so I guess maybe the Skripals made out better than leaving or getting out of Russia then, huh? You think the one Skripal lady, they had the cut in her throat, remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. I don't know what the Skripals are. I really don't.
When she had the tracheotomy, remember that?
Yeah.
The Skripal lady?
Yep.
She pulled up out of nowhere. They had the spacesuits on. And then, like, the cops next to the people with the spacesuits on, like, didn't get affected by, what was it? Novichok, right?
I think it was food poisoning. The restaurant where they had been eating just before they came down with what they came down with, unfortunately had a very bad reputation for some of their seafood not being entirely fresh. And I think they both got sick, and somebody said, "Well, let's turn this into anti-Russian propaganda."
Man, and they made out though because they're not going to get the Sputnik V, I guess, right?
Well, but they're probably going to get the Pfizer.
Yeah, right. They're living in the United States safely, right?
No, they're using the Pfizer vaccine is what they're using in Great Britain.
Okay, I didn't know that. So it's just all around, just a mixed max of just everything.
Yeah.
But, the Russian boat captain, remember the explosion in Lebanon?
Yes.
Can't forget about that one. Remember?
Yep.
Because it wasn't a nuke, right, Mike? It was a culminating event of things, one accident after the other that caused the explosion, right?
Well, there's usually a cascade of events leading to any disaster, whether it was the Lebanon explosion or this one they just had at the chemical factory here in the United States. Anyway, Dave, I'm going to let you go here. Thank you very much for the phone call, and we're going to switch over to Peter in Los Angeles. Hello, Peter. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Hey, Mike. I was just going to chime in on the gun control thing, and like the cops, as you've pointed out many times before, they won't go into a highly charged situation. They wait till things die down, then they go in, they put up the tape, and go from there.
Yes.
They won't take on gun control like that, but we'll get gun control quickly. They simply cannot have so many so many people who are enlightened as to voter elections and all that, and actively against the government, really more actively than before, armed. So, and just like they won't be able to, they won't put up with the First Amendment, they won't put up with the Second Amendment either. But the way they'll do it is, somebody gets shot with a Smith & Wesson gun, they'll sue Smith & Wesson. Those sort of lawsuits, those will be legitimized. They'll have the ammunition ban. The government, like they did under Obama, when the Department of Weights and Measures would buy up 1 billion rounds of ammunition to keep it out of our hands.
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
Well, Biden is planning taxes. He's planning to tax ammunition and tax the guns you already own. You're going to have to pay a tax on your gun every single year, and the goal is to make guns too expensive to own, except for the ultra rich.
And on top of that, Mike, what we're looking at here, really in about 2 or 3 months, is going to be mass poverty. And buybacks, which don't look good now, might look good to some people in about 3 months. And so the buybacks will be going on. And then if you slap a tax on it, the people who are already, can barely feed themselves, that's a pretty potent thing. But the other thing is they also, with smartphones and all that, they know exactly where we are. So the people, the high profile Second Amendment people, they'll get them when they're out at the store. All once you go into a grocery store and you come out with a bag full of groceries, and there's 5 cops around you, and another 15 are tossing your house and confiscating everything you have. That's the way they'll do it. They won't go door to door. They'll make it expensive. They'll rely on the poverty. They'll get at the gun manufacturers, and the whole litany of what I just went over. But they will not take it on head on, because that would be civil war. And hopefully we won't let them do this. But I'm not real optimistic about how we would resist this. Oh, one more thing, Mike. Can I ask? Can I say one more thing? Yeah. There's a Michigan state legislator, Cynthia something or other, black woman. Did you see that tape she had when she came out and she said, when she tried to intimidate the whistleblower, the election whistleblowers and so on, and she said, we're basically calling out the Antifa and Black Lives Matter soldiers to go out and take care of these people?
Yes.
I mean, did you see that? I mean,
I did. Now, the good news is that she has been pulled from all of her committee assignments and is facing further disciplinary action because it was terroristic threatening.
She should be in jail for that.
She may yet be.
She should be literally in jail. I'd like to see that happen. I mean, it needs to be. And somebody wrote somewhere about how Maxine Waters from out here, she does that kind of thing all the time. People who do that kind of stuff should be in jail. Professors who get up and say white people should be wiped out, they should go to jail.
I agree.
You can't say stuff like that.
Well, then we're caught in the crosshairs, because of, the First Amendment. And I'm obviously a supporter of the First Amendment. And so technically, I have to say it is okay for this Democrat to get up and issue her threats, but then other people have an equal right under the First Amendment to stand up and say, you're full of it, which apparently is what is happening.
Well, I don't think that equal rights, frankly, I don't think it applies to us anymore. Like, I can't wear a White Lives Matter thing, right?
No, you should be able to if you aren't. Peter, I got to put you on hold. Don't hang up. I'm going to come right back to you.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
The Republic Broadcasting Network late night premiere show of Red Pill Hardcore is hosted by activists that want to hear from you, the listeners. So that you can get involved in the activism, please call in at 800-313-9443 at 10 p.m. to enter the discussion. To book yourself as a guest, call our studio at 202-657-5715 or contact RBN staff. Remember, keep it real and take the red pill.
Folks, we're living in a world the likes of which we've never perceived any clearer than we do now. The plan for global governance has been in the works for generations and would have likely been achieved by now, but for the fact that the globalists left open their Achilles heel. With all their tools, Federal Reserve System, fiat currency, no child left behind, and then Common Core education introduced to our schools to dumb us down, vaccines, pharmaceuticals to lobotomize us, GMO foods, insertion of compromised or bought and paid for politicians, judges, mainstream media propaganda, all pieced together like a puzzle designed to ultimately bring the world under submission. But with all their strategy, they forgot one thing: knowledge. And knowledge is power. With knowledge, their bombardment is nullified. Folks, with that, as brilliant and knowledgeable as you've become, among the wisest audience of any radio audience in the world, and you are, I want you to take a moment to reflect and ask yourself, how much of that knowledge did I obtain from Republic Broadcasting Network? How high has my consciousness been raised since I've been a listener? How fast am I now able to discriminate truth from fake news by being a Republic Broadcasting listener? How clear am I now able to see the world since I've been listening to RBN? Ask yourselves those questions, folks. Then ask yourself, what is that knowledge worth to me? Like my morning coffee, how would I survive without it? A voice of truth in a sea of lies. Do we not all need to make sure it survives? Like public broadcasting, we are now finding we can only survive with listener support. Censorship, advertisers being attacked, truth itself being attacked. It's the only way through this. We at Republic Broadcasting humbly ask you to become a supporter. Look at your budget and make a determination of what Republic Broadcasting is worth to you and what you can afford on a monthly basis. Go to republicbroadcasting.org and pledge $20, $30, $40, $50, if possible, $100 a month or more if it's affordable. Click the donate button and become a regular monthly donor. Assure both us and yourself that Republic Broadcasting truth will continue to flow like that morning coffee. The network thanks you.
Some are maxed out all their credit cards. Some are working 2 jobs and living in cars. Minimum wage won't pay for a roof, won't pay for a drink. If you gotta have proof, just try it yourself, Mr. CEO. See how far 5.15 an hour will go. Take a part-time job at one of your stores. I bet you can't make it here anymore.
Welcome back to our show here. We're talking with Peter in L.A. We're talking about guns and gun owners. And of course, a lot of gun enthusiasts are probably out there saying, we told you not to register those guns, because now the government knows who's got them and where they are. And I think, Peter, you're probably right. They're going to go after the more, shall we say, vocal advocates of civil insurrection and rummage through their houses and everything. But in the end, I mean, if you really think about how many gun owners there are in this country and how many guns, that is a very, very slow process. And I really do think that Biden's plan is to throw so many taxes on guns and ammo that only the very rich will be able to buy them.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mike. But and the buybacks, all that stuff will have the increased taxes and the buyback. When nobody has a job and everybody's hungry, those are going to look pretty compelling. Both of them can't afford to pay the taxes, and geez, if I can get $500 for this gun, maybe I'll take it. And they're going to rely on the poverty that they've imposed upon us in order to help disarm us. So,
well, I would doubt the $500. I mean, I remember they did a gun buyback in Los Angeles, which failed miserably, I might add, and they were giving out $25 shopping cards, little plastic cards. You could go to the supermarket and basically get one day's worth of food. And what they discovered is that people were stealing other people's guns to turn into the buyback. So again, not sure how much that is going to work.
The ingenuity of the American never ceases to amaze me.
Yep.
But I don't know. There's a lot of 400 million guns, and there's going to be 135 million starving people in about 3 months. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
It definitely is here. And again, getting back to this Los Angeles gun buyback, most of what they bought turned out to be junk, wasn't even operable anymore. So, if you've got an old gun that doesn't work anymore, sell that one for the $500.
You think that I believe that they already have a database on even things that aren't registered.
Well, they may. They've got a database on,
Yeah. Well, Mike, thanks very much. Appreciate your time.
All right. Well, thank you very much here. I remember many, many years ago when I was in my black powder building phase, there was a store in Anaheim, not too far from Disneyland, where I used to go to buy parts and supplies and whatnot. And I remember one time I went in there and there was a representative of the BATF who was pressuring the owner of the store to start recording the names of black powder customers. Now, black powder guns, at least back then, couldn't be registered because if you're using a patched ball, there's no ballistic test that can match a ball to the black powder gun it came from. And I remember this BATF guy was very pushy, very aggressive, and the owner of the store said, look, the law says black powder guns don't have to be registered. And the BATF said, well, one day we'll get around to that. So apparently they were concerned about it. And unfortunately, all those years in Hawaii, my black powder guns corroded to the point of unusability. I mean, they're great noisemakers on the 4th of July, but that's about it. I actually had a fan of the show sent me one of those 80% lowers. Unfortunately, I have to admit my black powder skills weren't up to it, and I botched that one pretty bad. So much for my desire to have an AR-15. What can I tell you? All righty, before we go back to the phones here, I want to get this out here in case we run out of time here. Right now, there is a gigantic coronal mass ejection hitting the Earth. It's one of the most energetic that they've seen in quite a while. And so for those of you living in more northerly latitudes, or extreme southern latitudes, I don't know where my audience is these days, but you might take a look at the northern sky after dark, and you may actually get to see an aurora. Apparently, they're expecting the aurora to extend unusually far south, and I'm certainly going to be out there with a camera as well. Okay, we're close enough to the next commercial break. I'm going to leave these next two callers on hold, and getting on back to what Keith was saying about the large chunk of ice that broke off from Antarctica and how there's volcanoes under it. Apparently, the melting of ice in central Greenland is not being caused by human-caused global warming. Apparently, they have discovered there is a geothermal source rising from the core mantle boundary. And apparently researchers in Japan mapped it all out and basically said, yeah, it's the flow of hot rocks. It's not human-caused global warming. Okay, we're going to take another break here for commercials. We got callers waiting on the line, 512-248-8252, and we'll be right back.
You are tuned in to the Republic Broadcasting Network. Visit our website by going to republicbroadcasting.org.
The reviews for Extendivite are amazing. Amazon customer. It's amazing. I just ordered my second bottle. In 1 month, my blood pressure dropped significantly. I no longer get chest pain after I exercise. The reviews are spot on. My target is to get off of BP meds, and if it keeps going like this, I see a light at the end of the tunnel. Amazon customer. Extendivite works great. This product has made my blood pressure and cholesterol stable. I highly recommend it. Amazon customer. Excellent herbal formula. I've been using it to keep my cardiovascular system fine-tuned. Extendivite is only $69.95 for a 2-month supply. To order, call 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com. That's HEARTDROP.com.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
Hey gang, Patrick Slattery here with an important message that is pertinent to anyone who shops for groceries, eats food, or just has an inquisitive mind like myself. What I'm about to introduce you to is a segment of our food culture that has been kept so low profile to the American public that virtually no one is aware of how dominant it is on our refrigerator and cupboard shelves. What I'm talking about is the kosher certification industry and a new app, Koshertified, that delivers a comprehensive education on all aspects regarding this little-known practice. After reviewing this app, I found that it is useful for practically anyone who purchases food, regardless of their religious faith or identity. Its database of products not kosher certified is a win-win convenience for all food-conscious people. So why not check out thekosherquestion.com or click on the link at nationalbugle.com and see how modifying your grocery shopping with the Koshertified app can make a huge difference for your future.
Homeowners, if your lender has gone out of business or sold your transaction to another lender or servicer, you may be the victim of a wrongful foreclosure, resulting in the loss of your home. If you've already lost your home, are in foreclosure, or even in good standing, you can challenge the mortgage transaction's illegal issue, and your property can be restored to you, and your foreclosure can be stopped or reversed, and the mortgage transaction declared unenforceable. State laws, U.S. title codes, the Uniform Commercial Codes, and U.S. Supreme Court rulings have upheld that defective mortgage documentations can reverse or stop foreclosures and enforce property title claims in favor of the homeowner. We are having successes in stopping the process of foreclosure, the enforcement of the foreclosure judgments, the sale of property, and evictions after the sale. We are not attorneys, and we don't give legal advice. We are a professional team of legal researchers, providing forensic mortgage audits and expert witnesses. We have the knowledge to produce the evidence and enforce laws regarding your legal issues. We've been in business for 12 years without a complaint. Consultations are free, and we provide a free title search to confirm if your mortgage has legal defects. Please call 855-253-3748. 855, 2, keep it today.
We are living in dangerous days, and I am frightened by what you say. chills right to the core. This talk of holy war.
And welcome back to our show here. And before we go back to the phones here, I just got an email from Keith Rogers, who has dug out some of the information on the Russian COVID-19 vaccines, the Sputnik 5 here. It's basically rated at 91% to 95% effective, and the cost per dose is less than $10 each. So you keep that number in mind when they come around with that Pfizer needle and say this is going to cost you hundreds of dollars. All right, we're going to go back to the phones here to Fred in Iowa. Hello, Fred. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
You believe Darwin killed God?
Well, since I don't believe in gods of any kind, I think Darwin has to be adjudged innocent.
My subject was eugenics.
Yes.
You know, if the whites are having such a problem, we should introduce eugenics again. And we started it in 1924.
Yes.
Justice Supreme Court Justice Oliver William Holmes, he wrote the final decision that it was legal to sterilize people. So if you're so worried about whiteness, well, we could sterilize all the blacks. What do you think of that?
Well, I noticed that Planned Parenthood was started as an organization to reduce pregnancies specifically in the black population, and that blacks remain the majority of the people who seek out their services. Now, you know, the eugenics program was very popular back in the 1930s. That's where Adolf Hitler got his ideas about race hygiene, and it's because of how he abused and misused the concept that eugenics fell out of favor here in the United States of America. So I don't think you're going to be able to bring it back without people saying, oh, the Nazis have returned and Hitler is back, and so forth and so on.
Well, you're pretty darn well informed. Yeah, the Germans didn't start eugenics.
Nope.
We did, and they took, and Hitler thought that was a pretty good idea, white supremacist bastard, and
Yes.
So they killed all the Jews and all the queers and all the gypsies. Boy, that was a good way of getting rid of the
Mentally retarded people. I mean, yeah, we just, yeah.
Yeah, and you think we should reintroduce eugenics, huh? By your conversation and your answer.
No, I don't think it would be a very, very good idea. No, I'm not for it.
Well, there you go. You said it on air. You are for eugenics. And listeners,
I think
if
I
you've
said
got any
exactly
brains
the opposite.
then, yeah, just
Okay.
let it register.
Fred, Fred, check the battery in your hearing aid, and thank you for the phone call. We're going to switch over to Ryan in Cleveland. Hello, Ryan. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I was going to before I get to my point or whatever, my main topic, I guess you can say, is when he said, did Darwin kill God?
Yes.
And I think that was more of a metaphor. But then can you hear me?
Yeah, you're on the air.
Hello? Oh,
You're
okay,
on the
sorry.
air.
So then right away I think of the theory of evolution, and then it's like a conspiracy theorist, almost like doublespeak. You know, the people will think, oh, the theory of evolution is fact, but it's a theory. It's a conspiracy theory. And then,
Not
but then
a
if you call it
conspiracy
conspiracy
theory, it
theorist,
is a theory, but it's backed up by a tremendous amount of evidence.
yeah, but a conspiracy, when they call me a conspiracy theorist, there's a lot of evidence backing a lot of that stuff up also. You know, like 9/11, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist, stuff like that. All right, but then, okay, let me go on to my other thing. Well, my main reason I called, it's with the delegates. And I'll say two things, and then I'll listen to what you think. All right, so let's say the Supreme Court agrees with Texas, so all those 62 electoral numbers are then like thrown out. So then it brings Biden down to 244 and Trump at 232, and if
Yes.
they split them in half because these states could do whatever they want with them, and who knows if they're Republican or not. If they go split it in half, Biden still wins with 275 to 263. The only way Trump can win is if 3 of those 4 states have to give all the electors to Trump. So I'm thinking the Supreme Court is going to say, "Oh, Biden, we agree." And it goes to the states, but then the states won't give Trump enough electoral votes, and so then Biden still gets it. So it's kind of like I have a bad feeling about all this, But it's like you have to think like, well, what's going to go on here? Are these Republicans like in Pennsylvania? They shoot them down. They won't. The House in Pennsylvania could actually call some kind of a meeting and give all the delegates to Trump, but they won't do it. So what makes you think they're going to give all the delegates to Trump if the Supreme Court shoots down this stuff and helps Texas out? So, if I was a betting man, I'm almost thinking like that Trump, they're not going to give Trump these delegates. They got so many options to screw him over. What do you think?
Well, first of all, we're talking about the electors, not the delegates. And
That's what I meant to say. I'm sorry.
Okay. That's
what I meant to say. I'm sorry.
Not a problem. If the Supreme Court rules that the states named in the Texas and other states' lawsuits elections are invalid, then both Biden and Trump are below the necessary number of electors to win the presidency. And under the Constitution, the election would then be thrown into the House of Representatives, where Trump would win.
Oh, so that wouldn't go to the state electors to say, okay, we're going to go ahead. The Supreme Court wouldn't say, states, we're throwing out the election, but we want the houses to give the delegate or what I'm calling them,
the electors. Well, they could do that. The Supreme Court could do that because legislatures are empowered to pick the electors. But something a lot of people seem to miss about the 2020 election, even though we're being told that Biden defeated Trump and it was a huge Democratic victory, the fact of the matter is that at the state legislatures, the Republicans made tremendous gains. And in these battleground swing states, if you will, the legislatures are controlled by the GOP. And I think that the electors would be thrown to Trump. But my expectation is the Supreme Court is going to say there is no real remedy, and they'll throw it to the House of Representatives.
Is that good? Sort of that means like each state gets a vote?
Each state gets a vote, and the Republicans have more states than the Democrats in the House of Representatives. They may have more representatives, but from fewer states.
So if you're a betting man, how do you think it'll go?
I think it's pretty much the way I just said. I think it's going to wind up in the House of Representatives. The caveat there, of course, is that the skullduggery is nowhere near done. We're already seeing indications they're going to try and cheat the Senate runoff election in Georgia. And, these vote riggers have really created a real mess because nobody is buying that this election was fair and honest. Even 30% of Democrats are saying it was crooked, and they're not going to make that go away anytime soon.
So you're saying you're saying that the election in January for Georgia may play a big part of this?
It's going to play a part in the control of the Senate, because if the Democrats get both of those Senate seats and Kamala Harris is the Senate President pro tem, then that technically gives the Democrats control of the Senate.
But then Trump would still be president.
No, if Trump is president, then Mike Pence is the President pro tem of the Senate, and the Republicans would be in control.
Okay, but you're thinking Trump is going to win this thing?
I don't really know.
If you're a betting man, with Texas and all that, the lawsuit.
Well, if I were a betting man, I wouldn't wager more than a nickel in either direction. Let's just put it that way.
Oh, I like that one. All right. Well, I appreciate it.
Okay, well, apparently, I just got word from our control room that the Pennsylvania House is going to appoint the electors from Pennsylvania. And that, of course, is going to swing that state into Trump territory as well. All righty, let's go back to the phones here because we're getting close to the end of the show. Kelly in Austin. Hello, Kelly. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Hi there, Mike. Listen, one or two of your callers commented about Darwin and evolution.
Yes.
And I have to call them and say, like, okay, I'm a geologist, and I've got a perspective on this that most people don't have. And I'm just appalled that Americans are as misinformed as they are about what Darwin actually wrote.
Yes.
Darwin, there's no such thing as Darwinism, and there's no theory of evolution.
Mm-hmm.
Darwin proposed a theory of natural selection, and from that, various theories of evolution evolved. So there's not one unified theory of evolution.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody who claims that there is such, it is such a thing as a theory of evolution, doesn't know what he's talking about. Period. And so I have to shake my head in disbelief at how ignorant most Americans are about what Darwin actually did. Now,
Yes.
the other thing is, I was really called about glaciers and the melting of glaciers. My wife and I went to Iceland last year.
Mm-hmm.
We were there for 3 weeks.
Okay.
Traveled all over the island. Beautiful place. You can see the glaciers melting, but they're not melting from the top, they're melting from the bottom.
Yes.
The water's pouring out from the base of the glaciers. And why is that? Because the glaciers, the island of Iceland is sitting astride the mid-Atlantic ridge, which is a massive hot spot.
Yes.
And so
They've got all those volcanoes all over Iceland.
From below. That's right.
Yeah.
And so I visit these different national parks, and you get these the environmentalists who are going on and on about climate change, and I ask them, well, why is the water coming out from beneath the glacier? No answer for that.
Mm-hmm.
No answer for that. So really, you have to consider the science before you start making outlandish comments about the melting of glaciers. Again, the heat is coming from below.
Mm-hmm.
It's not coming from the top. And as a result of that, you get this massive melting of the ice at the base of the glaciers, and that causes that water to flow out from below.
Yes.
And these are just basic observations that people who are not educated in the geological sciences fail to grasp. So I just wanted to chime in on that about Darwin. Many people calling to complain about Darwin are just frankly abysmally ignorant of what he actually did.
Mm-hmm.
They know nothing about evolution or about Darwin and about global warming. Look at where the glaciers are melting. Most of that stuff is coming in is melting from below, not from the top. So that's all I've really got to say.
Well, Kelly, thank you very much for the education and a very astute observation about the glaciers in Iceland. And I know it's very beautiful up there. I've never actually been, but I had a friend who lived there with his family for quite some time. They sent a lot of pictures. So thank you for the phone call.
I have to tell you, Mike, if I could live anywhere else, I'd go to Iceland right away. I love Iceland. It's a beautiful place. It's the whitest place I've ever lived.
I can imagine that it definitely is.
You know what I mean? But
all right,
I would go back to Iceland immediately.
All right. Well, good luck. Maybe you're going to get there. If they get into World War III, Iceland may be the only place left that's habitable. Thank you for the phone call. We're going to switch over to Marco in Alabama. Hello, Marco. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind today?
Hey, good afternoon, Michael.
Yes.
I just wanted to, bring an observation. All I hear, on conservative radio is just people who are down and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if Biden is exposed as the criminal that he is,
mm-hmm.
in my heart of hearts, Donald Trump, dude, will enact the Insurrection Act. I mean, after all of the positive measures are exhausted, every channel, dude, through the courts, dude, we are not going to let this man in, dude, and all that stuff, dude, regardless of the fact. Because
mm-hmm.
if worst comes to worst, and Donald Trump, dude, enacts Article 2, Section 2, protected by the 14th Amendment of our Bill of Rights, dude. The American citizens, dude, will be going door to door snatching these people out of their homes, dude, if Trump, dude, tells us to. And all that stuff, man. So, let's just be cool here, guys. And all that stuff. I mean, I love Tom from Florida. I agree with a lot of things, dude, that he says, man. I love a lot of your callers. But to sit here and think, dude, that Trump won't enact the Insurrection Act, dude, when that's dereliction of duty, man. I mean, dude, come on, let's be real, guys. Dude, we have plenty of options. And another thing is this, is that if we don't agree, dude, with the election, how are they going to stop 80 million of us? Seriously.
Yeah. Well, I hope it doesn't come to that, obviously.
We stop paying taxes.
Yep.
We stop paying for health insurance. We stop doing this. If Joe Biden is going to sit here and let all of the illegal immigrants come to this country, forget paying car insurance because it's going to be astronomically high. Forget paying health insurance. It's going to be astronomically high. And all that stuff. It is up to us, dude, to quell this insurrection in this country, dude. And all that stuff. It is up to us, dude, to be men, dude, and go door to door, dude, getting all of these unindicted co-conspirators, dude, out of this country, man. You guys realize that this is your job as an American citizen, dude, when law enforcement, the military, and everybody, dude, is not going to do it. It is your job, dude, and prepare yourselves for that reality.
Okay.
Have a good day.
All right. Thanks an awful lot. We're going to switch to Tom in Utah. Tom, I'm going to have to take you through the next commercial break. What's on your mind?
Hey, Mike, I'm so grateful to this COVID event.
Why?
After 40 years of apparently teaching and observing, working with false information, I'm now getting the truth out of politicians and media. I finally learned that the most infectious, the most filthy, the most contagious animal in the kingdom is the human being.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously for thousands of years or hundreds of years, we've been wasting our time taking showers, using a flush toilet, washing our hands, carefully, cooking, preparing our food. So all of that's been for naught because, quite frankly, we are the most filthy creature in the planet.
Well, I would disagree with that, and I'll tell you what,
that.
Tom, I'm going to put you on hold. We got to take a break for commercials, and we'll be right back.
Is your property a financial burden and causing you grief? Have you tried to sell but can't find buyers? Or are you just too busy to sell your property? Don't worry, we have the right solution for you. We buy properties as is, with cash, close in 30 days, and pay all closing costs. Our service is ideal for property owners who are in pre-foreclosure, have high-end repair costs, experiencing financial hardship, going through costly divorces, are relocating, need cash for retirement, suffering family loss, or have tax liens. Whatever your situation may be, we can help you sell your property and get the money you need. If you own a single-family home or multiple family units, call us for a free consultation at 888-910-1037. That's 888-910-1037. Or visit our website at cashingproperty.com. That's cashingproperty.com. Sell your property fast and leave all your worries behind.
Extendivite 7-herb formulation is approved to help maintain cardiovascular health and help lower blood lipid levels in adults. Extendivite is made from hawthorn, garlic, valerian, cayenne, bilberry, ginkgo biloba, and milk thistle. The herbs in Extendivite have been chosen for their ability to help with overall health. Many people have reported improved energy and stamina in just a few months. If you think you could feel just a little bit better, then Extendivite may just be for you. Extendivite is an all-natural supplement. Extendivite is only $69.95 for a 2-month supply. To order, call 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com. That's HEARTDROP.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Have you been looking for a trusted long-term storable food company? We have a solution for you. Simply Clean Foods is dedicated to providing the best quality food you can buy next to fresh from a farmer's market. Our line of resealable fruits, vegetables, and meats are suitable for everyday use, and you won't have to worry about throwing away valuable groceries ever again. Our food is completely GMO-free, and our stringent quality controls, plus testing for heavy metals, makes us unique in the storable foods market. Simply Clean Foods' primary focus is to bring clean food to people all around the world and change the way we look at freeze-dried food in our daily cooking. When you purchase from simplycleanfoods.net, not only will you be receiving high-quality food, but you will also be supporting veterans in need across the country and those who are affected by natural disasters. Right now, Amazon Prime members will receive fast 2-day shipping. Go to simplycleanfoods.net. That's simplycleanfoods.net. But do it today.
And welcome back to our show. Last segment of the program today, we're talking with Tom in Utah. And Tom, the reason that we have showers and flush toilets and all the rest of it is because we are dirty, filthy organisms. In fact, it's one of the biggest problems with scientists who work in BSL-4 laboratories is how do you disinfect the human body so that they don't carry something into the lab that will be confused with whatever it is they're trying to study. Tom, are you there?
Hello?
Yes, you're on the air.
Yeah, I'm so grateful for this new knowledge that seems to fly in the face of 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
But now I understand that we are the true contagion on the planet. The other animals that don't
I
use a
disagree
flush
with
toilet,
that. I disagree with that description. I mean, we're just another life form, and there are life forms that are certainly more contagious than we are, like the bats, which is where they're getting all these viruses to play with.
well, yeah, but how many bats are wearing face masks?
Not
they
enough.
fly around. Yeah. The birds are not wearing face masks. The livestock's not wearing face masks. Your pig is not wearing one. Your chickens are not wearing them. So obviously, we are the most vile animal on the planet.
Well,
we have this smooth skin. We can't trap too much garbage in our skin.
I think there's another way to look at this, and that is that the bats and the livestock and the chickens and the dogs are simply too smart to fall for this whole COVID-19 hoax.
Uh-oh. Now I got to rethink what I've been learning. You mean I got to turn off CNN and all that stuff?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Turn off CNN. Just stay tuned to Republic Broadcasting and you'll be in great shape.
Can you imagine how crazy I'm going when I hear this nonsense that flies in the face of fact?
Yep.
It's pathetic. Anyway, I just wanted to express my gratitude for this new bit of knowledge. After 40 years of advising my patients and advising students wrongly, I finally have to repent, have to backtrack. I got to contact all my victims and say, hey, I was wrong.
Well, a little dirt is good for you. It keeps your natural immune system in tip-top shape. Anyway, Tom, I got to let you go. We've got another caller waiting on the line. I want to get him before the end of the show. Mark in New York. Hello, Mark. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Hey, Mike. There's only a little bit of time, so I'll keep it short. I wanted to cover a little bit of trolling and then the boycotting on some things that you're pointing out on some of the things. And this Article 1, Section 6 of Speech and Debate Clause I wanted to get to. But overall, first of all, this guy Dave that called in before, it was offensive to hear. He's kind of a troll, I believe, and he was trolling about Russia. He was kind of doing these condescending, obnoxious, leading questions, going right, and it was all about Russia, I believe, and that's that goes back to my complaint about obsessing, and obsessing. This is obsessing about non-issues, and that's it. And that talk chat is the YouTube chat that I always close because there are guys like Dave on it always saying obnoxious things.
Okay.
On
Mark, I got to let you go. Mark, I got to let you go. I'm
so that's
sorry.
cool.
The music
Thank
is
you. No
playing. We're
worries.
out of time. Stay tuned for John Stedmiller. I'm sure he's got lots of interesting things to share with you. Please spread the word of Republic Broadcasting. Spread the word of whatreallyhappened.com. Please donate. It has never, ever been as important as it is right now. We'll be back tomorrow. Aloha, America.